Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some amazing inventions that have come out of Africa. Now, I know that when we think of great inventions, we often think of places like Europe or the United States, but Africa has a rich history of innovation and creativity that we shouldn't overlook. So let's dive in and take a closer look at some of the inventions that came from Africa. First up, we have the ancient Egyptian invention of papyrus paper. Papyrus is made from the stalks of a plant that grows along the Nile River, and it was used for writing, drawing, and even making boats. Papyrus was used for thousands of years in ancient Egypt, and it eventually spread to other parts of the world, where it was used for everything from books to maps. Next, we have the invention of the shea butter press. Shea butter is a natural product that comes from the nuts of the shea tree, which grows in many parts of Africa. For centuries, African women would manually extract shea butter from the nuts using a time-consuming and labor-intensive process. But in the 20th century, a man named Samori Touré invented a machine that could extract shea butter much more efficiently. This invention not only made life easier for African women, but it also helped create a new industry around shea butter production. Another African invention that you may not have heard of is the Q drum. The Q drum is a water-carrying container that was invented by a South African named Piet Hendrikse. The drum is made from plastic and is designed to be rolled along the ground, which makes it much easier to transport water over long distances. The Q drum has been used in many parts of Africa where access to clean water is limited, and it has helped make life easier for countless people. These are just a few examples of the many amazing inventions that have come out of Africa. From the development of ironworking to the creation of the first known surgical tools, Africa has a rich history of innovation and creativity that is often overlooked. As we continue to learn more about the contributions of African inventors and scientists, it's important to recognize and celebrate their achievements. Certainly, there are so many incredible inventions and innovations that have come from Africa, and I'd love to share more with you. In this video, we'll take a closer look at some of the most influential inventions from Africa, as well as the people and cultures behind them. One of the most important inventions to come out of Africa is the wheel. While the origins of the wheel are difficult to trace, it's believed that the first wheels were invented in Mesopotamia around 3500 BCE. However, it was in Africa that the wheel was first used for transportation, and this invention revolutionized the way people traveled and traded goods. Another important invention from Africa is the plow. The plow was first developed in ancient Egypt around 4000 BCE and was used to help farmers till the soil and plant crops. The plow was an important invention because it allowed farmers to cultivate larger plots of land and grow more food, which helped support growing populations. One of the most fascinating inventions from Africa is the sundial. The sundial was first invented in ancient Egypt around 1500 BCE and was used to tell time based on the position of the sun in the sky. The sundial was an important invention because it allowed people to keep track of time more accurately and helped them organize their daily lives. Another important invention from Africa is the astrolabe. The astrolabe is a device used for measuring the altitude of celestial bodies, such as stars and planets. The astrolabe was first invented in ancient Egypt around 150 BCE and was later refined by Arab scientists in the Middle Ages. The astrolabe was an important invention because it allowed sailors and navigators to determine their position at sea, which made long-distance travel and trade much safer and more efficient. African cultures have also been responsible for some incredible innovations in the field of medicine. One of the most important of these innovations was the development of anesthesia. The use of anesthesia during surgery was first documented in ancient Egypt around 1500 BCE, when a mixture of herbs was used to numb the pain during surgical procedures. This innovation helped revolutionize surgery and made it possible to perform more complex and risky procedures. Another important medical innovation from Africa is the use of medicinal plants. African cultures have long recognized the healing properties of certain plants and have used them to treat a variety of ailments. One example of this is the use of the cinchona tree, which is native to Africa, to treat malaria. The bark of the cinchona tree contains quinine, which is an effective treatment for malaria. African cultures have also been responsible for important innovations in the field of architecture. One of the most famous examples of African architecture is the Great Pyramid of Giza, which was built in ancient Egypt around 2560 BCE. The Great Pyramid is an incredible engineering feat, and it's still considered one of the most impressive structures ever built. Another important architectural innovation from Africa is the use of adobe bricks. Adobe bricks are made from a mixture of mud, straw, and water and have been used for centuries in Africa to build homes and other structures. Adobe bricks are an important innovation because they are cheap and easy to produce, and they provide excellent insulation against the hot African sun. In addition to these specific inventions, African cultures have also been responsible for important innovations in the field of art and music. One of the most important innovations in African music is the use of the pentatonic scale. The pentatonic scale is a musical scale that contains only 5 notes and is used in many different styles of music, including blues, jazz, and rock and roll. The pentatonic scale is an important innovation because it provides a unique and distinctive sound that is instantly recognizable. Another important innovation in African music is the use of call and response singing. Call and response singing is a technique where one singer or group of singers leads with a phrase, and another singer or group of singers responds with a different phrase. This technique is used in many different styles of music, including gospel, blues, and jazz, and it's an important innovation because it creates a sense of community and interaction among the musicians and the audience. African cultures have also been responsible for important innovations in the field of textiles and clothing. One of the most important innovations in African textiles is the use of indigo dye. Indigo dye is made from the leaves of the indigo plant and has been used in Africa for centuries to dye clothing and other textiles. Indigo dye is an important innovation because it creates a deep, rich blue color that is difficult to achieve with other types of dyes. Another important innovation in African textiles is the use of kente cloth. Kente cloth is a type of cloth made from interwoven strips of brightly colored fabric. Kente cloth is an important innovation because it's a symbol of African culture and heritage, and it's often used in important ceremonies and celebrations. African cultures have also been responsible for important innovations in the field of agriculture. One of the most important innovations in African agriculture is the use of terrace farming. Terrace farming is a technique where farmers build steps or terraces into a hillside to create flat areas for planting crops. This technique is used in many different parts of Africa, and it's an important innovation because it allows farmers to grow crops in areas that would otherwise be too steep or hilly. Another important innovation in African agriculture is the use of intercropping. Intercropping is a technique where 2 or more crops are grown together in the same field. This technique is used in many different parts of Africa, and it's an important innovation because it allows farmers to grow more food in a smaller area of land. In conclusion, Africa has been responsible for many important inventions and innovations throughout history. From the development of the wheel to the creation of anesthesia, African cultures have made significant contributions to many different fields of study. It's important to recognize and celebrate these achievements, and to continue to learn more about the rich history and culture of Africa. As we look to the future, it's clear that Africa will continue to be a source of innovation and inspiration for generations to come. Alright, that's a wrap. We do hope you learned a lot from this video. Please do well to like, share and subscribe.